Now let's hop in and take this thing to Cortez. Okay. We may not have gotten hit at all with this thing, because, I mean, at least at present, it looks like it has full HP. And the heavy weapon certainly bailed us out on one occasion. We did see that as we hopped into this, our squad mates did not fare nearly as well as we did, though.
All right, Commander. Let's get you out of there, and I'll do a systems check.
Listen, Shepard, I'm all for crazy ideas, but this one's off the charts.
We've come too far to stop now. The way home is through Leviathan.
Okay, SEALs, check out. Oxygen pressure is nominal. Systems are a go. It's as ready as I can make it.
So this would be, if you've not yet picked up that little bit of money is next to where you actually got the Triton, this would be your last chance to do that, or, for that matter, loot anything else in this entire area that you might have missed, because there were certainly times when we were a little bit rushed. But I think we were pretty thorough, so I think we're pretty good. I think we're ready.
Let's go.
Shepard, just...
I'll be fine. Closing hatch.
Engaging systems. Ready.
Testing comlink.
I read you.
Here goes.
Commencing dive in 3, 2, 1.
What could possibly go wrong?
Suit holding up, Commander.
Looks good so far.
Good. Getting some comms here. It's on.
Copy that. Cortez? Cortez!
Perfect. Perfect.
Not sure if you can read me up there. Looks like I finished the major descent. Can't see much from here. Suit is holding up. Emergency systems have come online. Life support operational.
Okay, so here we are at the bottom of the ocean, and bioluminescent jellyfish present. Bioluminescent plants that we heard about while we were on the surface on that wreck? Not yet, but onward we go. We are over 3,000 meters below the surface right now. And we are slowly making our way
Scanner
further.
indicates the probe is below my position. Looking for a way down.
We hop down here.
Shutting down all non-critical systems to preserve remaining power. Not sure how much juice the emergency thruster will need to get me back to the surface. Can't worry about that now.
Would be a nasty surprise. Yeah, just look at it, though. It's beautiful. But onward we go.
Getting some strange readings from the probe. Something is definitely down there. Reading the probe directly below me. Looks like the final drop.
Ooh. Well. Looks like a pretty big drop. Geronimo!
Can't say anything just yet. Found the probe. Seems intact. I'm gonna keep moving.
Alright, find Leviathan. That's the goal. That's the probe. Not much we can do with it here now.
What is that?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I had to find you.
This is not your domain. You have breached the darkness.
You killed a Reaper. I need to know why.
They are the enemy. One that seeks our extermination.
But I thought you were a Reaper.
They are only echoes. We existed long before.
Then what are you?
Something more. Your mind belongs to me. Breathe.
Oh.
Dan. What's happening?
Your memories give voice to our words. Your nature will be revealed to us.
That doesn't sound good.
This.
Can you perhaps elaborate on that a little bit more?
The galaxy's at war with the Reapers. You defeated one. Why aren't you fighting back?
There is no war. There is only the harvest.
Then help us stop it.
None have possessed the strength in past cycles. Your own species could be destroyed with a single thought. But you are different. I have witnessed your actions in this cycle. The destruction of Sovereign. The fall of the Collectors. The Reapers perceive you as a threat. And I must understand why.
Whoa.
Before the cycles, our kind was the apex of life in the galaxy. The lesser species were in our thrall, serving our needs. We grew more powerful than they were cared for, but we could not protect them from themselves. Over time, the species built machines that then destroyed them. Tribute does not flow from a dead race. To solve this problem, we created an intelligence with a mandate to preserve life at any cost. As the intelligence evolved, it studied the development of civilizations. Its understanding grew until it found a solution. In that instant, it betrayed us. It chose our kind as the first harvest. From our essence, the first Reaper was created.
Boom! Mic drop. Whole lot of info just got dropped on us. So, in case you missed any of that, the Leviathan, or Leviathans, whatever the plural is, predated the Reapers, you might have caught them mentioning, and that is because, once upon a time, they were the apex species before the cycles they set. However, they found that the lesser species, although they could control them to a certain extent, they always created machines that eventually, those machines turned around and were the death of them. They were destroyed by their own creations. And so, the Leviathans sought a way to prevent this from happening, to preserve life at all costs. They created a machine to do that. And perhaps by doing that, they repeated the same mistakes that all of those lesser species did as well, because although that technology at first merely studied living species, it later started to take action, and that action led to them harvesting other species because they created the Reapers. So the Leviathans were the ones who created the Reapers in the first place. So, whole lot of questions about that. Let's see, where do we start? How about... Not entirely sure what the intelligence part was referring to.
You built that machine despite what you saw the other races experience. Why?
You cannot conceive of a galaxy that bends to your will. Every creature, every nation, every planet we discovered became our tools. We were above the concerns of lesser species.
And you thought you were above making those same mistakes.
Envisioned as simply another tool.
And now we all pay the price for your mistake.
There was no mistake. It still serves its purpose.
It still serves its purpose. The Reapers still serve their purpose, preserving life at all costs, except that means that harvesting all the species is somehow preserving life? I don't know about that. Tell us more about this first harvest where they rebelled against you.
How did the intelligence defeat you?
To find a solution, it required information. Physical data drawn from organic life in the cosmos. It created an army of pawns that searched the galaxy, gathering this data. There was no warning. No reason given when they turned against us. Only slaughter. Only the harvest.
And of course, we are now very familiar with this harvest process. Except somehow, some way, you found a way to survive when it seemed as though no one else could.
How did you remain hidden all this time?
Our extermination was not complete. Some survived and found refuge in the dark corners of the galaxy. I am their progeny. Over the cycles, the Thrall races were controlled, removing traces of our existence as we directed them to. In this way, our survival was kept secret from the Reapers. Today, we reach out through the fragments and watch for discovery.
Fragments? You mean the artifacts we found?
They provide a window into the galaxy. Tools for exploring the events of this cycle from the safety of this world. Through them, we watch, we study, and remain in the shadows.
Oh. So through the artifacts, they found a way to continue to gather information even while they remain in hiding. Okay, tell us more about the Reapers.
Tell me about the Reapers.
Each harvest ends with the birth of a Reaper, perfect in its design, each formed in Harbinger's image. Our image. Each Reaper has the power to influence organics. Over countless cycles, this ability was refined, perfected, and gave
Okay. And I mean, as we said previously, when we found the Leviathan artifacts, it seemed as though the Leviathan were demonstrating very similar abilities to those of the Reapers. It seemed very much like it was indoctrination. And so perhaps the Reapers learned from the Leviathans and eventually perfected that skill over time to the point where it became the indoctrination process that we have seen today. Why the cycles? You say at the end of every cycle, they create a new Reaper.
What's the point of all these harvests?
The intelligence has one purpose: preservation of life. That purpose is not being fulfilled. It directed the Reapers to create the mass relays to speed the time between cycles for greatest efficiency. The galaxy itself became an experiment. Evolution, its tool.
Will it ever end?
Unknown. Until the intelligence finds what it's looking for, the harvest will continue.
So, the Reapers built the mass relays as a bit of a trap, a bit of a setup for all of the organic species to more rapidly develop and populate the galaxy, only so that the Reapers could proceed to harvest them and do whatever it is that Reapers do with harvested individuals. Seemingly more than just create more pawns, more troops for them, but there seems to be some greater underlying purpose. I mean, of course, in theory, to preserve life, but it certainly seems as though that is not exactly the primary objective we have seen them pursuing in this cycle, as they have certainly caused a countless number of deaths. Do you know anything about the Crucible?
What do you know about the Crucible?
We have watched its construction before. It has never been completed. Those who have tried still fell victim to the harvest. Its outcome is unknown.
Okay, you made your point. Will you help stop the cycle?
I have searched your mind. You are an anomaly, yet that is not enough.
Wait!
The cycle will continue.
No! You've been watching. You know this cycle is different.
We will survive. You will remain here as a servant of our needs. The Reapers will harvest the rest.
If you release me, no one has to be harvested.
Nothing will change.
Ooh. Leviathan, after having witnessed all of these cycles, every single cycle, witnessed every single species that has failed in their attempts to stop the Reaper. Can we convince them that this one is different, that it's worth it? Perhaps venturing out, taking some risks that they would not otherwise have been willing to take. Perhaps potentially even getting discovered by the Reapers, if it means we can put a stop to the Reapers.
The Reapers know where you are. You can't just watch anymore. You have to fight. Even if you survive the battle today, the Reapers won't stop. Ever. Release me and we have a chance to end this, once and for all.
Oh, there's more.
Your confidence is singular.
I've earned it. Out there fighting, where you should be.
It is clear why the Reapers perceive you as a threat. Your victories are more than a product of chance. We will fight, but not for you or any lesser race. We were the first, the Apex race. We will survive. And the Reapers who trespass on this world will understand our power. They will become our slaves. Today,
hey guys, we're back. Don't mind us. Also, could use a nap. Where is that now? What? And mind control the brutes to fight each other?
Shepard's back. Cortez, talk to me.
We're good to go. I don't know what the commander did, but the pulse is offline.
Tally can't hold an assault rifle? What is that nonsense? For a second, I thought that was a squad mate that fell out of the
We got a
shuttle.
Reaper inbound.
Oh, that's not good though. Whoa.
Shepard, wake up! He's freezing. Are you all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. Hell of a headache.
Keela, don't do that to me.
I've got Ann Bryson on the comm.
Good. Put her through.
Commander.
You feeling better?
Yes, thank you. I'm doing fine. What happened?
We found it, Anne. We found Leviathan.
Was it worth it?
Oh, well, I mean, we took a bit of a beating along the way, and, however, that being said, we did seem to just witness Leviathan casually just take out a humongous, what appeared to have been Reaper capital ship, not even a destroyer, the full-blown sovereign-size Reaper in a matter of moments. So, I mean, if they can do a little bit more of that, then yeah, I'd say it's probably worth it, but they didn't exactly seem like they were going to play by our rules. They also made some mention of trying to control the Reapers as their slaves. Now that was a little bit of a concerning idea that I hope they don't follow up on that one. I hope they don't follow through with that.
I don't know. But we proved it can't hide anymore. That it's a part of this war, just like us.
Sounds like an amazing story.
One for the history books.
Well, I look forward to hearing all about it. My father would appreciate this, knowing the truth is out there. In the meantime, Admiral Hackett has asked me to join his scientific team. We all have our part to play. I should get to it.
Take care, Anne. And thanks for all your help. Shepard up.
Commander, I finished reading your report.
The Alliance wanted more intelligence on the Reapers. I'd say we got it.
Our people will be studying it for years to come. They're already calling it the Leviathan Codex. It rewrites galactic history as we know it.
Whatever else it means, it tells me the Reapers had a beginning. And maybe now we'll provide them with an end.
That's one way to look at it. I guess it's the only way. So go out there and make it happen. This is a big step in the right direction, Shepard. Good work.
Thank you, sir.
Hackett out.
Alright, so Leviathan complete. And you saw we got the Dominate ability unlocked, which was an ability from Mass Effect 2 that you can actually get by choosing Morinth, which we did ever so briefly. We got an achievement, Under Pressure, which is a fitting name for finishing Leviathan. And The reason why I said previously, before we got fully into the Leviathan chain of quests, that although Leviathan is DLC, and sometimes you might think, oh, it's a DLC, is not that important to the main quest of this game, surely I can skip it if I'm just trying to do the most important stuff. Now, see, the thing is, Leviathan, despite being DLC, does give you the origin story for the primary enemy, so it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. So for that reason, if maybe you're playing Mass Effect 3 without Legendary Edition, just the original Mass Effect 3, and so it is not rolled into the base game, and you're debating, okay, like, maybe I only have the ability to get 1 or 2 of the DLCs, which ones should I prioritize? For that reason, I would say Leviathan, if not at the top of the list, is pretty high on the list of DLCs in terms of which ones I would recommend that you absolutely take the time to check out, because otherwise you're missing out on a huge amount of detail on why and how the Reapers came into existence, and a little weird. It is a little weird that that's not technically in the base game. In Legendary Edition, of course, it's in here no matter what, but for the original Mass Effect 3, not so. As for our war terminal here, we have several updates. In fact, we are, all the way up to 700, almost 700, or rather 7,400 at this point. So that gave us a ton. Let's see, where did it all come from? Leviathan Enthrallment Team, this is the big one. 400. I mean, that is single-handedly bigger, I think, than some of the more major species, but of course we saw just how powerful the Leviathans appeared to be. A mixed species team of special operations soldiers have volunteered to covertly deliver Leviathan artifacts behind enemy lines. Okay, so it's not like the Leviathans themselves are going to leave this location in which we found them, it doesn't seem. We'll deliver these artifacts to expand their influence. These attacks aim to make Reaper creatures thralls of the Leviathans, like we saw that husk, or rather the brute that attacked the other brute. On a small scale, this could cause chaos and disruption. On a large scale, and if given enough time, it could form an army of Reaper creatures dedicated to exterminating their own kind. The team's major limiting factors are the small number of artifacts and the reluctance of Alliance commanders to operate openly with such a potent weapon for fear that the Reapers might develop a countermeasure. Or that maybe, we should not necessarily inherently trust any and everything that the Leviathans tell us. They do still seem to be, they did say some questionable things when we were down there. So that's a huge pickup. For the Alliance, we get Dr. Ann Bryson. So she said that she joined the war effort, and that is in fact the case. She's worth 20 points, which is a pretty significant amount for one individual. Dr. Ann Bryson has survived her ordeal with Leviathan's artifact and retains most of her mental faculties. Not all of them. Not all of them. She did go a little bit crazy when the Leviathan took her over, messed with her mind, but her research into paleotechnology could be useful in understanding the Prothean device and the laws of high-energy physics that the Reapers seem to ignore. Okay, so that's a little bit of a boost there, and Asari, what did we get of the Asari variety? Was this maybe from planet scanning that we did a little while back? Oh, the Husk neural map is for some reason considered Asari, okay. It was kind of a weird description, or at least a weird title that didn't really know how to make any sense out of it. The biologists on Chalkos have made a quick study of the brain structures of husks and other Reaper creatures. Isolating the parts of the brain responsible for interpreting sensory data, their conclusions contrast the various strengths and weaknesses of Reaper ground forces when it comes to sight, smell, hearing, and so forth. This data could be extremely useful for soldiers or citizens trying to escape and evade Reapers on occupied planets. Okay, if we can find out to what extent Reapers can or cannot see, smell, hear people, then definitely be useful. And for the Crucible, it's the Jovian dissertation. Yeah, we saw this And it did remind me of how we got the dark energy dissertation from our friend Conrad Werner, which was worth a whopping 1 point. This was worth 5, so it's a little more significant, apparently. The scientific data draws conclusions about the gas giant Isale's exceptionally powerful magnetic field, which has complex interactions with those of its moons. The mathematics used to model this complexity can provide new insight into the math of the Prothean device. A brief glance at the data hints at some kind of energetic pulse that might pass through the magnetosphere of a planet unimpeded, but any details are best derived by high-energy physicists, not from soldiers. Oh, wait, there's more? There's also the radiation shielding sheath. The Prothean device is being built in space, where its inner workings may be vulnerable to cosmic radiation from nearby stars. While the construction plan has taken standard risks into account, a sudden turn in space weather could pierce the basic shielding and irradiate the device and crew. Superior radiation shielding used by the orbital stations near the gas giant Sinius would provide a low-cost way to keep the device safe against all but the most unusual energetic emissions. Then Turian as well. We picked up the Dextro rations. Oh, right, I remember picking this up. When they were struck by the Reapers, the agribusiness of Triginta Petra had a surplus of both plant and animal-based food products for dextro amino acid-based sapients, such as Turians and Quarians. Both Turian troops, who favor a meat-heavy diet, and the Quarians, who are typically vegan, show a marked preference for the recovered rations, suggesting that although they were wiped out by enemy forces, the Petrans had pretty good taste. That's interesting, that level of detail of, well, apparently the Turians are all about their meat, whereas the Quarians are vegan. Opposite ends of the spectrum, serving Petran food to a unit about to go into combat can restore a little morale and dignity to an otherwise demoralized squad. Okay. I suppose so. And yeah, the number approaching 7,400, it's getting up there. It's getting pretty big at this point. So that is probably a good sign. Let's take a little bit of time to look around the Normandy and see if anyone has anything to say in response to finishing the Leviathan DLC and learning a lot about the Leviathan and the Reapers by extension. Anything from Joker or Edie?
Commander?
Joker has not had anything to say on any of the Leviathan missions. Edie has.
So the Reapers did not fully exterminate their creators. That suggests they are fallible, even on large or long-term scales.
I suppose.
How's the ship holding up, Edie?
This is gonna
The
be
envelope of mass-free
Yep.
space we
We've heard this
create when
before.
we travel at
many
FTL.
times before, in fact. Sorry, Edie. Don't mind us. I mean, also, Edie's technically in the entire ship, so the fact that we are casually running away from her is not going unnoticed, I'm sure. Anything from Trainer?
Commander.
No. The terminal, our emails, still kicking. From Grace Sato. Commander Shepard, just want to say how indebted I am to you, not just for saving my life, but for giving me a greater sense of purpose. After our ordeal securing the array base on Ontarum, I now know I have something more than my technical expertise to offer. Grace Sato, Systems Technician, 3rd grade. This was the person who is a 3rd grader, first and foremost. No. It is the person that we coordinated a bit with when we were doing that N7 Cerberus communications array mission on Ontarum, where, based on Firebase Dagger for multiplayer, ran into, surprise, surprise, a bunch of Cerberus people, including some Phantoms, had to run around and what was it, like, either upload or activate several different sets of technology. I forget technically what it was at the time, but and then meanwhile Grace was getting hunted down by Cerberus, but we successfully, of course, completed the mission, and Grace also made it out alive. So good to hear that she's doing well and perhaps trying to contribute to the war effort as well. Okay, let's ask around and see if anyone has anything to say about that mission.
I've been thinking about what we learned, Shepard. The thing is, I don't really care what the Reapers are or where they're from. They're monsters that need to be put down. That's all I need to know.
I mean, fair enough. At the end of the day, for all the stuff we learned about the Reapers, they're still looking to take them out, right? And no matter what we learn about them, that's probably still going to remain to be the case.
Hey there.
Anyone chatting here? No? Pretty unusual, but it does happen on occasion. As for Garrus, though, Garrus may very well have something to say.
Shepard, I looked over your mission report. Gotta say, it feels like we've been after these Reapers forever. From Sovereign to Leviathan, they've been a pain in the ass the whole time. But at least we're starting to see the big picture. Never really thought we'd get any answers. Doesn't change much, but it does make this war feel a whole lot bigger.
Right. Fundamentally, we're still looking to take out the Reapers. This much is true. That hasn't changed. But it does give us a lot more insights as to what and why what the Reapers are and why they are going through this whole process.
Later.
Please, enjoy your day.
Thanks, Cliff.
I can only imagine talking to something so huge, so alien. I hope it helps against the Reapers.
Yeah. Oh, and other thing that I don't recall if I mentioned at the time, but so it is not a coincidence that the Leviathans and the Reaper big capital ships look more or less identical. It is because the Reapers deliberately designed those capital ships to look like the Leviathans in a weird, twisted sort of way of honoring their creators. And that also explains why in Mass Effect 2, when we fought a Reaper larva that looked like a human, it looked like a human because it was created using all of the humans harvested from all the human colonies that the Collectors had attacked. And so that's why it looks like a human. And let's drop down to engineering. And the reason why you don't notice, hey, that Reaper flying over in the sky there looks like a human. That one looks like a Turian. That one looks like some species, presumably, that was from 50,000 plus years ago from a previous cycle that I've never heard of or seen before. The reason why you don't see all those is because, at least I think the theory goes, that the outer shell of all of the major capital ship Reapers is designed to look like the Leviathans. And that's why they all look like Leviathans when we see them. However, the interior, the actual Reaper that is inside the metaphorical shell, looks like whatever the harvested species is. And so that's why we saw the human Reaper inside of the actual sort of main structure. And presumably, there would be something similar if we were to try to break inside of other Reapers. Yeah, let's not do that anytime soon, though. Let's try to find other ways to take out the Reapers.
Commander.
Nothing new from Allers. But I have to imagine Javik has something to say about all this.
I have studied your human religions, Commander. Your devil and his fall. Leviathan and its kind deserve the same fate. They once unleashed a plague that has haunted all of our history to this day. I say their own hell is the abyss you found them in. One I hope they never escape from.
Okay. You know, actually not a bad analogy. They're trapped in there, at the bottom of the ocean. They are completely stuck there because Sure, they can observe what is happening outside using all their artifacts, but they're too terrified to ever leave that area because they know that if they do, the Reapers might suddenly discover them, and then the Reapers would target and attack them, and then their peaceful, you want to call that, existence in this remote world is gone. And they failed.
Commander.
Routing heat through propulsion and weapons will let us use the internal emission sink for 3 hours longer than normal.
Not if it overloads propulsion.
Give her a chance, Daniels. Increasing the utility of the stealth drive could come in handy.
Propulsion and weapon systems have built-in heat sinks. They can trap heat while we're in stealth mode to buy us time. Quarian ships do it when they can't find a safe place to bleed off static charge. It's completely safe.
This isn't a Quarian freight hauler, Tali. Our heat diffusion systems are precision engineering. Do this, and we'd have to replace them twice as often.
We can afford that. I'm more worried that it won't work. Can't put my finger on why, though.
It's going to overload propulsion.
You'll be fine, Gabby. Weapons would overload long before propulsion.
That doesn't make me feel better.
It's a risk, yes, but it's worth it when we need the stealth drive. Rerouting heat flow.
Tally?
Told you.
I know. I'll start on repairs.
Oh, Tally, you know, maybe it was a good idea in theory. Maybe it sounded like the potential downsides. You could make up for it. We'll be fine. We have sufficient heat storing capacity. But no, maybe not. But better now. Better for that to happen now than, say, when we're right in the middle of trying to, I don't know, fly away from a Reaper. So, okay. Better now than sometime else.
I thought I'd lost you down there. Don't do that again. Not even to forge an alliance with a damned Reaper killer. You're worth more than that.
Oh.
Thanks for coming by.
Okay. Okay, Tally.
My board is green.
Shepard. Nothing to report, Commander.
Okay. Let's head back then. And now we'll head down to the shuttle bay. Let's chat with these two.
Can't say I was happy sending you down in that submersible by yourself. Don't know why I ever worry about you. Take on ancient aliens from the deep? Sure, no problem.
Not an issue. Don't worry about it. You're right.
With the Leviathan on our side, maybe we pull this thing off after all.
Maybe, James.
At least Anne's still around to see her dad's work finally pay off.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we kind of said that before, right? That perhaps, you know, as terrible as it was for her to have lost a loved one, maybe by seeing through his research and achieving what might have previously seemed like it would never have been possible, maybe that just enough to get that little bit of a spark of hope. Okay, anything else? I mean, we could check. If we look at the Spectre requisitions just to see if we missed anything there. Apparently we did not, in terms of items, at least, because it would have shown up here below the Rosenkopf material greaves. We might have missed, say, a source of just outright monies at some point, but still looking at 157, and that is, I mean, that's around where we were before we made some recent upgrades to, what was it, the arc pistol, and then we did a full round of upgrades to the particle rifle as well. And those upgrades, if you start from level 1 and go all the way through, they add up. So we're at the point where I think we could, and if we wanted to, we could get the Black Widow. We might be able to get some of those big shotguns. There's Valiant, I think, is still too expensive, although I'm honestly not that intrigued by picking that one up. Actually, hold on a second. There's one thing I wanted to see in the Captain's cabin. That's being... Ooh, disoriented. There we are. That's being... You may remember when we were in the lab, we were talking to James about the husk head, and he basically just asked us if we could keep it. And after talking to him a little bit, we found that, I mean, sure, it's kind of annoying, but why not, right? Why not?